Hey everyone! So today we are going to be going over Gerard. And Global just got Gerard, and I really don't understand what to call him in Global, so I'm just going to be calling his job Gunlancer like I always have. So the Gunlancer job is a pretty unique job. It comes with a snowball, it comes with several non-typed attacks and a couple of pierced attacks. So let's get into it. So Gerard is a Kaiganable unit, and my personal suggestion for Gerard is 523. And that's because I honestly don't think his second gate is super powerful. Like always, we go with gate 1 for the stats of it all, but he only for his gate 2, it upgrades his Sky High and gives him more jump attack and pierce attack. But the problem with that is that Gerard's half of his kit is typeless damage, so this really only affects like one of the skills he uses and his auto attack. Other than that, it's kind of useless. You don't really run him as a Dragon Knight very often outside of super niche situations, so I honestly do not think that that is a good investment in his gate 2. Now, his gate 3, I have it 523 because his max gate 3 is actually the same as Mayfawn, so I just run Mayfawn instead and saved myself 2 sins. If you haven't maxed your Mayfawn yet, or you want to get your Gerard up earlier than October when Mayfawn will get her Kaigan, then 525 is a perfectly acceptable stat line. It's definitely worth doing. A 50-20 leader skill, I've said it before, those are one of the most desirable leader skills in the game. Generally speaking, you want one with 50% HP on it for survivability, and you want one with 50% of an offensive stat, normally a mix of physical attack and all damage for damage, and then maybe like some kind of unique leader skill, like, I don't know, account leader skill maybe, or a magic leader skill or something along those lines is like a third option. But generally speaking, you want a 50-20 and a 20-50. So for his gear, you guys have the Vettel Nenso, and the Vettel Nenso is designed for him and Gerard. And I don't really have to go over these stats because you can look these up in the database, but the important thing is it's got the base stats of attack, and it's got the group skill with the attack, along with some other extra goodies here. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna go over these in high depth because you can look these up in your own database. So he does have a VCR, but it's not like it's a VCR specific to him. But at the same time, it kind of is. Now, you don't have the Nenso yet that this comes from. It's going to be coming from the Grants Nenso. That'll probably come out in the next batch. It's a 4-star Nenso. And the weapon has 10 starting joules, 40 attack, 40 defense, and 40 pierce modifier. Or, I'm sorry, 10 pierce modifier. So it is a very good weapon. And it does have a weapon ability, which I will display in a map shortly. That is very good, and then you'll kind of understand why it was kind of made for Gerard, but why it kind of wasn't, because Ankh can also use this weapon. Now, there is a dart Nenso that is going to give this meat here. And we just call it the meat. What is it? I can't read Kana, it's too late, and I'm way too tired. So, anyways, it comes with 400 HP, 7 starting joules, 4 joule regen, and it also comes with HP regen. So this is a super powerful VCR. However, it's limited to spear units from Envy. So basically, Gerard and Leonia are the 2 units who use this. So you are going to want to pick up doubles of this VCR if you don't want to move it around. Now, this last slot here is basically just for a speed item, and I like to run Wonder Chronos or Saint Meteor personally. I've gone over this before. Saint Meteor is good for the heal. Wonder Chronos, you all know what Wonder Chronos does, but in case you didn't, it's a clock up for basically offensive physical units. You can really slot anything into the third slot here. Like, for instance, I know on Neo Vita floor 112, I slotted in the Fujiga VCR because I needed him to be able to tank arrows You really can put anything you want in here. It doesn't matter. And one of the best things about Gerard is because he has access to the meat, he doesn't need to use up one of your regen armors. And that means that you can run a team at your Thunder team with 4 regen units, which is just great. Another thing to note, he can use the Nina bunnies, but honestly, he isn't going to because they just don't really help him at all. So that's all I have for his gear. Let's go into his loadout. So his loadout is going to be the he's going to use his Gun Lancer basic, or his Gun Lancer main, along with the Holy Brawler basic. I like to run his Gun Lancer reactive, along with his Gun Lancer snowball, and his HP passive from his Holy Brawler. So that's my preferred setup. You can run it differently if you want, but I think this is his best setup. So let's go ahead and hop into a map here so you guys can see what he does. And I went into the wrong screen. So I'm going to start by giving him 5 turns in order to max out his snowball so you can see his damage. One of the best things about Gerard's snowball is it's super easy to use. It's just 5 turns. And after 5 turns, he's rearing to go. Actually, I'll go with an offensive leader skill. Just because I like to use Sharon's leader skill a lot. Also because I really like Sharon as a unit. So I'm going to go down here and collect some jewels quick while I wait for this snowball to charge up. It's 1 turn so far. 2,000 damage for a normal attack is super good. And you also have to remember that each turn he gains Pierce and Water Exploit. And it maxes out at 60. So I have 12 per turn. And after 5 turns, he's basically going to be ready to put some serious hurt on. The one downside is, like I said before, because he has so many non-typed attacks, it kind of makes it the half of his snowball irrelevant outside of his normal attack. Because if you look in the kit, he's got 2 pierce attacks. I'll go over what this 70 jewel attack is later. I'm not even sure if you guys have Babel Tactics yet or not, but we'll go over that. So I think that was the 4th turn. So 1 more turn. Alright, and then let's go ahead and charge up. And then we'll get started. Alright, so Gerard has 3 attacks on his main kit, and then he's going to have a couple attacks on his master abilities. So let's start with his main kit. So for here, okay, there is a height problem. Great. Anyways, let's just do this. Alright, here we go. Now we're ready to go. So, for this main attack here, this is not a very high damaging attack. I believe it does have a knockback on it, if I remember correctly. I have used this attack for its knockback properties before, knocking units back into traps. If you're, let's say you're up against a Metal Ratty, and you don't have any Defense Pierce left, because you have to remember that he does have Defense Pierce on one of these, I believe. You can knock units back into traps in order to kill them that way. So damage on it's not stellar, but it's not bad either. It'll do a little bit more damage than his normal attack will, but that's about it. Now, this 60 joule here attack here, this is going to be your big nuke. And 16k, yeah, that's a lot of damage. It's a lot less on non-units, because you have to remember, Gerard specializes in killing water units. He's running around with 60 water exploit. So that's what you want to use him for. This thunder attacker, you want to make sure you're using it on water units. Now, this 70 joule attack here. So once you get Gerard to level 85, something called the Babel Tactics will be opened for him. And I'm not sure if you have it in global yet, but once you do, this is going to be the biggest nuke in his kit. And it is going to do insane amounts of damage. So almost 20k in a 5-space line. So it's got a lot of range. And the reason it does so much damage is because it also scales off of Pierce. So if you do get his Gate 2, you'll be able to make this attack do more damage. But the trade-off of using his Gate 2 is you have to give up the HP passive. And I just rather my Gerard be a little bit tankier. So there is that. Now, for the rest of his kit, his second skill is going to be this 18 joule here, is a Daze and Bind. I think that's Bind, or is it Slow? No, it's Bind. This attack is actually helpful, believe it or not. I have used it on a couple of maps. The Daze and Bind has always been a useful combination, whether it's coming from the Rangers or whatever. It's a common combination. A lot of classes use this. And on maps where it is usable, it is definitely good to use. Now, as for this 50 joule attack here, well, it's not an attack. It is a 3-turn shield that will block up to 35% damage. I don't have his sub kit up right now for his Gun Lancer, but he has a count up skill for a plus 30 count, which is kind of just to make your next turn come faster. He's got a 3 square AoE right in front of him. And honestly, that attack doesn't do much more damage. It's just a little bit of AoE, and he's also got a Guts buff. So all in all, his sub kit is just really not that good. But let's go ahead and take a look at what some of these attacks look like. I'll run down here so I have some extra units. Yeah. So, honestly, I've always thought the idea of the Gun Lancer class was kind of stupid. I mean, just look at this thing. It's such a cumbersome weapon. But I mean, it's not like he's any short on damage. Anyways, let's go ahead and charge up again so I can show you the master ability. Because this is the other reason I really like to use Gerard. The typeless damage has always been a nice benefit, and there's no better typeless damage than the damage that's on his master ability. And this master ability is tied to the Gun Lance VCR that I showed earlier. And as you see, the range on this is pretty crazy. It's got a 5 square range all around him, and it does pretty good damage. This is neutral damage, so you'd be probably doing about 8 to 9k on a water unit with that charge up. So that's always been super helpful. And I'm not really going to go over these other attacks down here because these are all linked to the Vettel Nenso. So you can go ahead and look those up on the database yourself. He's really not going to use them often. If you don't have the Vettel Nenso, you can use the Chloe Nenso. Remember, Gerard is considered a Scarlet Flame Knight. So all of the Scarlet Flame Knight Nensos he can use. And I know that Chloe's has like a small charge up, I believe, with attack and defense. And it also comes with a self veil. And I know I used that back when I was new in order to clear some of the Vita content. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on Gerard. Let's go ahead and take a look at this attack and what it looks like. So, Yeah, I mean, Gerard's, once again, it's another pretty simple character. It's not super in-depth like Itsuki was, which is why the Itsuki video took like 30 minutes. Um, Gerard's basic job is you're going to want to basically auto-attack a couple times in the first few turns in order to build up some jewels, and after that, you're going to basically charge up and just start nuking things. And his attacks do cost a lot of jewels, but since he has the auto jewel regen and he can get his jewels back fairly quickly, he is actually pretty good about getting his attacks off in a timely manner. I know that there are some units that have really good nukes, but they can't ever use them because their jewel regen is so bad and the costs are so high. Gerard is not like that. You have no issue getting his attacks off as long as you have him set up properly. So that's all I have for this one. Expect Nina to be next, and I'll be going over Nina's Babel tactics as well, because Nina is pretty much the only viable summoner in the game. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.